Picture this. You've just gotten off a difficult phone call. Maybe it was bad news. Maybe it was just one of those conversations that leaves something heavy sitting in your chest. You walk back into the living room, and they're both already watching you. Your dog is sitting near the couch, completely still, head slightly tilted, eyes locked on your face. Not your hands, not the door, your face. Your cat is on the windowsill, but it's no longer looking outside. It's scanning the room, the corners, the hallway, the space behind you. You think one of them cares and one of them doesn't. But here's what the neuroscience actually says. They are both processing your fear. They're just using completely different survival software to do it. Your dog is reading you like a map, pulling emotional data from your eyes, your brow, the micro tension in your jaw. Your cat is auditing the environment, checking whether your emotional shift means the territory itself has become unsafe. Neither response is cold, neither response is indifferent. They're two ancient, beautifully different answers to the same question. Is something wrong? And what do I do about it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at either of them the same way again. Let's start with your cat, and let's start by dismantling something. The idea that cats are emotionally distant, that they don't really care, is not just wrong, it is the opposite of what the science shows. In 2019, researchers at Oregon State University published a landmark study on feline attachment. They used a protocol originally designed to measure human-infant bonding, called the Secure Base Test. The results were striking. 65% of cats showed a secure attachment to their owners. That number is almost identical to what we see in human children and dogs. What does secure attachment mean in a cat? It means you are their base of operations. When you are present, they are confident enough to explore. When you leave, that confidence collapses. When you return, it rebuilds. You're not furniture to your cat. You are the anchor point of their entire psychological map. But here is the critical difference in how they use that map. Cats are, at their neurological core, territorial mappers. Every room, every corner, every piece of furniture exists in a precise internal geography, what behavioral ecologists call a cognitive territory map. This map is not just spatial, it is emotional. It tracks safety, predictability, and threat. When you walked back into that room, tense, changed, carrying something heavy in your body, your cat didn't just notice you, it noticed that you had introduced a variable into the map. This is what researchers call environmental unpredictability, a shift in the emotional atmosphere of a space that forces a territorial animal to reevaluate safety. Watch a cat after you've had a stressful conversation. They move differently through the room. They pause at doorways longer. They check elevated positions. They are not ignoring you. They are performing what we might call a security sweep, a systematic re-audit of their environment to confirm that the space is still safe, even though the emotional data suggests something has changed. And there's another layer, something even more intimate. Cats practice behavioral mirroring. A 2015 study found that cats gradually synchronize their activity patterns with their owners over time. Sleep cycles, rest periods, movement rhythms. But more remarkably, they mirror physiological states. When you are tense, your breathing shallows, your posture stiffens, the pace of your movement changes. Your cat reads all of it, not through your face, but through your body in space. They are not looking at your eyes, they are reading the geometry of your anxiety. This is not aloofness. This is a form of intelligence that evolved in a creature who survived by mastering place and pattern, not by following a leader, but by owning a world. Now let's talk about your dog. That tilted head, those eyes locked onto your face, that is not just loyalty. That is a neurological specialization that took roughly 15,000 years to build, and it might be the most sophisticated emotional reading system in the entire animal kingdom outside of humans. It's called referential looking. Researchers at the University of Milan studying dog-human interaction identified a behavior that is unique to dogs among non-human animals. When a dog encounters an ambiguous situation, something unfamiliar, something uncertain, it doesn't just react. It looks at you first to check your face for information before deciding how to feel. Your emotional expression is your dog's primary data source. Think about what that means. Your dog doesn't just respond to your emotions, it consults them. You are not just a companion, you are a living emotional compass. But the science goes even deeper than behavior. It goes into the bloodstream. A 2019 study found that dogs and their owners show measurable cortisol synchronization. Their stress hormone levels rise and fall in parallel over time, particularly in highly bonded pairs, particularly with female owners. When you are stressed over weeks and months, your dog's cortisol profile shifts to match yours. They don't just sense your fear in the moment, they carry it with them. And the reason for all of this goes back to genetics. Dogs carry gene variations in the WBSCR region, the same chromosomal area implicated in Williams-Beuren syndrome in humans, a condition characterized by an extraordinary, almost compulsive drive towards social connection and trust of strangers. In dogs, researchers believe this mutation didn't just survive domestication, it was selected for. Humans, consciously or not, over thousands of generations chose the dogs who looked at their faces, who needed them, who found the world most navigable when a human was near. This is what the clever dog lab in Vienna has called the Velcro effect. Not clinginess, not anxiety, but a deeply wired navigation strategy. Your dog follows you from room to room not because it lacks independence, but because you are its primary tool for interpreting the world. When you walked back into that room, face tight, shoulders high, breath shallow, your dog's brain did something extraordinary. It ran a facial recognition scan. It cross-referenced your current expression against thousands of stored emotional data points. It measured the distance between your brows. It registered the shift in your jaw. And within milliseconds, it had generated an emotional assessment and was already deciding whether to press its body against your leg.
So here is the question worth sitting with. Why are they so different? The answer is not about love. They both love. The science is unambiguous on this. The answer is about what each animal needed to survive. Dogs descended from pack hunters who lived and died by social cohesion. Reading the emotional state of a packmate was not a luxury, it was survival intelligence. Over millennia, that intelligence turned outward, towards us. The face became the map. The human became the pack leader, the emotional anchor, the signal tower. Cats took a different path. They were and remain fundamentally solitary hunters. Their survival depended not on reading another creature's face, but on mastering a place, on knowing every exit, every threat vector, every change in the environmental pattern that might signal danger. When you became part of their world, you didn't replace the territory. You became part of it, the most important part, their secure base. So when fear enters the room, the dog looks at your face because you are the interpreter, and the cat looks at the room because you have just changed the map. Two strategies, one truth. You matter enormously to both of them. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The next time you're having a hard day and you notice them both watching you from the hallway, understand what is actually happening in those two small bodies. Your dog is running a cortisol scan on your face, pulling emotional data in real time, preparing to regulate your nervous system with its presence. Your cat is auditing the room, cross-checking every corner of its territory map, making sure that wherever you are is still safe enough to call home. Neither of them has the language to say, "I see that you're hurting," but both of them are paying a biological cost to stay close to your emotional world. That is not instinct dressed up as love. That is love, written in cortisol and cognitive maps and 15,000 years of evolution pointing quietly toward you. Take care of them. They are already taking care of you in every way they know how. If this video made you see your pet differently, subscribe. We go this deep every single week. And tell us in the comments who follows you more in your house, your cat or your dog? Because the answer, as you now know, says everything about how they love.